Hello and welcome to Postcard and a Pint. I'm Rachel.
I'm Wills.
And today we are in a very windy Llandudno. We just tried to film this up on the top on the hill because it's a great view. Camera, woo! But we caught it. All is okay. Today is November the 7th.
Well, for you it's November the 14th, but for us it's November the 7th.
It is. And on November the 5th, we celebrate something called Guy Fawkes Night here in the UK. We'll give you more history later, but traditionally we celebrate with a bonfire, fireworks. We sadly couldn't get to a display that night because of work, but there's one here tonight in Llandudno. Now, you'll probably remember we've been to Llandudno before. Vlog 3. And when we did, we ran out of time, as we do every week, and we missed out something called Happy Valley. So we thought, kill two birds with one stone. Let's do Happy Valley today. We'll show you all around. We're going to go on a toboggan.
Ooh.
We are going to go on a toboggan run, exciting stuff, and finish the day with a cracking firework display on the beach. So come along. Are you going to have a pint?
We'll have a pint at some point, don't know where. Might be in Llandudno, might be at home, who knows?
Who knows? So come with us, let's have a cracking day out in Llandudno. We've parked in Venue Cymru's car park, which brilliantly is a theatre once again, not a vaccination centre. Your postcode for here is LL30 1YR, and your what three words are chit chat, soap, carry. We've not talked much about Wills' sound recording since our first vlog, but today we captured such a great sound. Llandudno is a rock pebble beach for the most part. Today the sea was quite rough, and the tide was going out, creating a really cool sound. Have a listen. The firework company was all ready to set up. They just needed the tide to go out. The walk to Happy Valley isn't far at all. From the pier, it's about 5 minutes. From where we parked, about 20. Happy Valley is situated on the Great Orme in Llandudno. Now, it's a former quarry, and it was given as a gift to the people of Llandudno by Lord Boston in honour of the Golden Jubilee of Queen Victoria in 1887. It was landscaped and developed into gardens, 2 mini golf courses, a putting green and an open-air theatre. At the foot of Happy Valley, as you can see behind me, is a stone circle. This was constructed for one purpose only. This was to stage and host the ceremonies for the Welsh National Eisteddfod in both 1896 and 1963. The Great Orme cabin lift or cable car is a modern alternative to the Victorian tramway of how to get up the Great Orme. It runs from here in windy Happy Valley, and it's a distance of 1 mile all the way to the top. It's great. The open-air theatre closed in 1985 and the golf courses in 1987. The area was then converted into an artificial ski slope and toboggan run.
Back in the late 80s and early 90s, a lot of schools offered ski holidays. I was lucky enough to go on one. And this is where they brought you to learn to ski. I didn't learn to ski, I was dreadful. But anyway, let's go tobogganing!
Feel the rhythm, feel the rhyme. Heck, it's Welsh boy bobsled time.
The Happy Valley Toboggan Run is the longest crested toboggan run in Wales, 575 metres long. It's open all year round from 10 AM to sunset, but these times are dependent on the weather as the track needs to be dry. We didn't book in advance and it cost £8 for 2 rides. As there were 2 of us, we could have had 1 ride each, but we decided to pay £8 each and have 2 goes. I recommend this as you definitely get more confidence and daring the second time round. The Alpine Lodge, just been tobogganing. We've got a hot chocolate. Cheers. Enjoy your tobogganing.
I did, I thought it was really, really good. I don't think the Olympic Committee are going to be on the phone anytime soon asking me to front up the new bobsled team, but I had a great time. Well, that was fun, and we're now on our way back down into town. Word of warning, we walked from Llandudno to Happy Valley. It was a nice walk along Marine Drive, very, very nice. The last bit, up to the ski run and the toboggans, vertical. Well, not quite vertical, but yeah, very steep. I hope you can see from here on the way down. It's steep. We enjoyed a leisurely walk back into Llandudno. We saw they had a Ferris wheel on the pier, so we thought, why not?
Hiya!
Hiya! We're gonna have hot dog. Well, that was a great hot dog. We're just walking along the promenade now, trying to find the optimum spot for a bit of firework watching.
Hiya. Hiya. I'm on the beach.
The story of Guy Fawkes and the Gunpowder Plot. Guy Fawkes was born in Stonegate, York, in 1570. In 1591, Fawkes sold the estate in Clifton, York, that he had inherited from his father and travelled to the continent to fight in the 80 Years' War for Catholic Spain against the new Dutch Republic. Although England was not engaged in land operations against Spain, the two countries were still at war. During this time, on occasion, he used to adopt the Italian version of his name, Guido. As a Catholic, his hatred for King James I was inevitable. In his memorandum, he describes James I as a heretic who intended to have all of the papist sect driven out of England. There was only one thing for it: they had to kill the king. In 1604, Fawkes became involved with a small group of English Catholics, led by Robert Catesby, who planned the said assassination of Protestant James I. They would replace him with his daughter and third in line of succession, Princess Elizabeth. The first meeting of the 5 main conspirators took place on Sunday, May the 20th, 1604, at an inn called the Duck and Drake in the Strand district of London. There the plot was shared. They would blow up Parliament House with gunpowder. One of the conspirators was Thomas Percy. He was appointed a gentleman pensioner, or in modern words, the King's bodyguard, in June 1604, thus gaining access to the house that belonged to John Wynyard, keeper of the King's wardrobe, and Fawkes was appointed as caretaker and began using the pseudonym John Johnson, servant to Percy. The plan was they would dig a tunnel from beneath Wynyard's house to Parliament. Whilst digging the tunnel, which subsequently was never found, they heard a noise from above. It turned out to be a woman cleaning out a nearby undercroft, which just happened to be directly beneath the House of Lords. In time, the conspirators purchased a lease to this undercroft. It was here where they stored their gunpowder. 20 barrels were brought in at first, followed by 16 more on July the 20th. However, the ever-present threat of the plague meant Parliament would not be opening until November the 5th. There is much more to the story at this point, with Fawkes returning briefly to Europe and the gunpowder they'd stored had decayed, meaning they had to find more, but the plan was in place. They would blow up the House of Lords on November the 5th. A letter was sent anonymously to Lord Monteagle, who was Catholic, telling him to stay away, as they shall receive a terrible blow this Parliament. Although the letter was shared, it was thought to be a hoax. Fawkes checked the undercroft on October the 30th and all was well. However, Monteagle showed the letter to the King and a full inspection of the cellars beneath Parliament was ordered. In the early hours on November the 5th, Fawkes was found leaving the cellars and was arrested. Inside the undercroft, barrels of gunpowder were discovered under piles of firewood and coal. Fawkes was tortured to gain a confession, and then he was executed, although he fell to his death at the noose. Either it was too high or he jumped, thus breaking his back. However, his lifeless body was still quartered, and his body distributed to the 4 corners of the kingdom to be displayed as a warning to other would-be traitors. On November the 5th, 1605, Londoners were encouraged to celebrate the King's failed assassination by lighting bonfires, providing this was done with joy and without danger or disorder. An Act of Parliament designated each November the 5th as a day of thanksgiving for the joyful deliverance and remained in force until 1859. Today in Britain, the 5th of November is now most commonly called either Guy Fawkes Night or Bonfire Night. Bonfires were accompanied by fireworks from the 1650s onwards, and it became the custom after 1673 to burn an effigy, usually of the Pope, when their heir presumptive, James, Duke of York, converted to Catholicism. Effigies of other notable figures have found their way onto the bonfires, such as Paul Kruger and Margaret Thatcher, although most modern effigies are of Fawkes. The Guy is normally created by children from old clothes, newspapers and a mask. And that's Bonfire Night here today in the UK. as you can see, we did not go for a pint in Llandudno. We thought the display was absolutely brilliant.
But it was a bit cold.
It certainly was. And it was a bit cold and pebbly on the old bottom, shall we say, watching that. But it was great. What did you think?
I thought it was great. I thought it was one of the best firework displays that's in the UK. I actually thought it had gone wrong at the end because all the fireworks were going bap, 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 and I thought they'd all triggered off together and there'd been some problem, but there wasn't, because a mate of ours was actually working on it, and I spoke to him the following day. He said, "No, that's what it was meant to be." So yeah, it was good.
And we saw some other friends as well. It was like quite a social evening, wasn't it? We bumped into some other friends. What was your favourite bit of the day?
Well, the fireworks were obviously good,
yeah,
but the tobogganing was pretty cool.
Okay, you like the tobogganing. What I'd like to say on this video is he filmed himself doing the super speedy bit. He filmed me at the very end where you're told to stop.
Driving like a grandma.
So I look like I'm coming in like a grandma, but actually, boys and girls, that is the bit where you have to slow down to stop. But I look like Rent-A-Granny coming in on me little...
She says that.
Anyway, we've had a brilliant day. We're so glad you could join us. I hope you've learned a little bit about Guy Fawkes, just a potted history. If you want more, Google it, Wikipedia it. It's a massive story, but hopefully that's a nice little bit for you. And as we say, in Postcard and Pint, you've got who we were there.
But before we say that, we say it would be quite nice if you liked the video.
Oh yeah, that one as well. Like it, subscribe, click, blah blah blah.
Buttons.
All of that.
Yeah.
Buttons.
Yeah.
And now can we say?
Now we can say,
cheers to the good times.
We might have only just had fireworks night, but the kids around here have been letting fireworks off for weeks. It's ridiculous. They've been letting them off since the beginning of September. I mean, September, for goodness sake. It scared the life out of our cat. He was straight up the Christmas tree.